Hey guys, here we go into the post-fight thoughts of Gennady Golovkin versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. Before we get into that though, we got to talk about the undercards first. Just like any good fight, yeah, they sucked. So moving on, no, Jojo Diaz, he was pretty good. I like that guy, but we're not going to actually talk about that shit. I'm just fucking with you. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the main event and what a goddamn good fight that was. That was amazing. So, like we thought, when Golovkin would shell up and he had a hard time figuring out when Canelo was going to punch, Canelo was able to kind of open up on him and like throw combinations. And it looked really good. You know, at the end of the fight, there were a couple marks on Golovkin's face. And to my fucking surprise, there was like nothing on Canelo's face. Like Canelo's face, except like under his left eye, or his right eye, where the left hook was landing, or even getting blocked, you know, there was like a bruise there, you know, under his eye. It looked like it, you know, like, we'll see it like more tape and the post-fight press conference, and we'll get a look, unless they're both wearing sunglasses, but for the most part, they looked really clean, you know. Jeez, what a great fight, though. You know, Canelo fought a hell of a fight. He did try to use that, you know, the Danny Jacobs thing, you know, where you're trying to move around the ring, and he was countering well. He was doing some good stuff. And before we talk about scoring and stuff, you know, don't hate on Canelo. Anybody who's saying that, you know, Canelo this and that, you know, I personally thought Golovkin won the fight. I guess we are just going to talk about scoring. So, getting into it right away, round one, I thought was a pretty close round without anything like super discernible to say, oh, he won this or he did, you know. And I'd have to do like, I don't know. So watching this fight, number one, was exhausting. I was on pins and needles. This fight had me amped. Man, it was such a good fight. But round one looked like, I gave it to Golovkin. It was a close round. He was the one like coming forward, you know. To be honest, like I have to rewatch it and make sure that I have that correct, you know, like that he actually won the fight. You know, you can do like a film study like I did on Jacobs versus Golovkin and kind of pick apart what punches are landing, what punches are not. Like there were a lot of punches that Canelo was throwing that were like super fast. They were, you know, flashy, but a lot of them were being blocked. But in the first couple rounds, Canelo had a great jab. You know, he was jabbing really well, and we all knew he's going to have a fast jab, but the contention that I thought about that, and I'll get back to round one in a second, but the contention that I thought about that was that Golovkin would try to take advantage of the timing that Canelo uses, right? So like when Canelo leans on his front left leg, and he does that a lot, and I saw like a lot of evidence in the fight that Golovkin was timing him like that, trying to catch him opening up. It was really interesting that he was doing that, but it was also interesting that he wasn't shooting in with his jab. You know, he wasn't jabbing, stepping in, you know, ducking down. I didn't see him do like nearly any shifting during the course of the whole fight. Like nearly none. You know, there were a lot of skills, you know, probing when he would get Golovkin or when he would get Canelo on the ropes. He wouldn't probe with his right hand, and then you know, he did a little bit of it. He didn't do it with his jab in the middle of the ring like he normally would. There were some times where there was some contention and he would start using like higher level skills. So I'm really curious as to what Golovkin was thinking, because the fight looked really close. So anyway, round one, I don't care who you gave the round to, you know. I mean, I want to know, right? Like, let me know what you guys think. Actually, like in the comments section, if anybody wants to start it, you know, type round one. I don't know how you would do this. Well, just type in the score that you had at the end of the fight and who you gave it to. And, like, you know, some people, like, thumb that shit up. You know, look through the scores. And let me know what you guys had it as and who you had winning. Because it was a close fight. So, round one, I think you could go either way. Canelo or Golovkin, depending on which one you like, right? So much of boxing is subjective. And scoring is subjective. and without doing like a film study, you know, to see, oh, this punch landed, this punch didn't, this punch, you know, whatever bullshit, it's hard to tell like exactly who's landing what punches. It's just not easy. But I gave the round 1 to Golovkin, and then I noticed, like, I was listening to the corner, Abel Sanchez said, throw that right hand, throw a short right hand, and then when he goes to counter with the uppercut, throw the left hook to his, and he pointed to Golovkin's left shoulder. So throw that left hook to the shoulder, because that's where Canelo is going to put his head when he dips down to throw the uppercut, right? So in round 2, if you watch the fight again, like, and for what I remember, like, it was all super fast paced. Like I said, I was on pins and needles, but I remember a lot of Golovkin, when he would get real close to Canelo, he would stick a probing right hand out, and he wouldn't commit to it as a punch because he was just trying to bait Canelo into throwing the uppercut so he could come back with the left hook. But interestingly enough, I think Canelo knew it, you know, because Canelo did not throw the right uppercut again for, like, I don't know how many rounds, you know, like maybe 3 rounds. And I think that, you know, Golovkin was, you know, he had a trap, he had something set up that he was trying to work for, and he was doing the right thing, trying to set him up for that punch. But as a result of it, I think that he lost the second round because he stopped trying to land punches after that, right? So, like, he while using the probe and trying to get the reaction that he thought he was going to get, which is exactly how you're supposed to fight. That is beautiful boxing. Without that, because Canelo wasn't going for it, Golovkin didn't score a lot, I don't think, in the second round, you know? And I think Canelo won that round because he started throwing other combinations. He started countering in a lot of different ways that kind of threw off the ability for Golovkin to pick up on these patterns and to counter them, because he was varying his defensive tactics so much. I thought it was a brilliant tactic from him. Whoops. Don't pay attention to that. I hope that doesn't show up. It's probably going to show up. Yeah, it's definitely going to show up. I'm trying to watch the fight while the round 2 while I'm doing my little video. But I thought that Canelo edged round 2. I think he looked flashier. You know, I'll have to, like I said, do film study, pick apart who's landing what punches, because both of these guys were throwing with straight fire. So even blocked punches sounded like they were landing, you know, and there weren't a lot of clean slips. There weren't a lot of clean, like, missing shots like in the early rounds. A lot of them, both of them were just fighting really well. And anyway, I gave round 2 to Canelo. Round 3 looked very similar. You know, I think that Canelo was getting off a lot. He was throwing a lot of combinations, and you know, while I don't think that a lot of them were landing, and he did land some really clean punches, and he had a great jab, Golovkin wasn't landing very much either. He was coming forward, and surprisingly, you know, the lack of shifting and stuff, like, it really surprised me, because he could have been able to get to the side of Canelo, and make him circle out in other directions and, like, open up other punches, you know, but I don't know. Anyway, round 2, like I said, I gave it to Canelo, and then the round 3 I also gave to Canelo as well. And I'll be honest, at this point I was starting to get a little worried. I was like, oh man, what if Canelo doesn't fade, you know? What if Canelo's able to keep this pace up for the whole fight, you know? And it was looking real good. Like, Canelo was looking sharp. He was looking fast. He was picking up on the patterns that Golovkin was trying to bait him into. Yeah, Canelo fought a great fight. And so anyway, I gave round 3 to Canelo, so it's 2-1. Let's see. Round 4, I got the shit on right now. I'm fucking watching it. Round 4 I thought was also a good round, a really good round. I think that Golovkin started coming on in this round. From what I remember, I did give round 4 to Canelo as well, so I had him up 3-1 at the end of the round. But I think that Golovkin was starting to pick some things up, starting to figure out his rhythm, his timing. And it was really interesting because when he would get Canelo on the ropes, he wouldn't commit to a lot of shots. You know, he wasn't like unloading. He wasn't probing. He wasn't like, there were a lot of things that he just wasn't, he wasn't, like, a lot of skills that he's shown in all of his other fights that he wasn't using. You know, he did, I think, use a few of them later in the fight, like controlling Canelo, stepping off to the side after he throws combinations. But early in the fight, he wasn't using those tactics at all, and he didn't get a lot of damage done to Canelo on the ropes, you know, so it was really interesting. I will have to go back and watch the fight over again so I can get a better sense of what Canelo was trying to do for the whole fight. But there was one really interesting thing, too. I saw it in round 2, the way that Canelo was sliding off the ropes, and he had his hands down, and Abel Sanchez told him to throw the right hand like a hook because Canelo's walking into it, right, when he starts pivoting off of the ropes. And I thought the exact same thing, and I'm wondering why Golovkin never did it. You know, I don't think he did it even one time in the fight, but he was set up for it the whole time. But anyway, round 4, even though there was that like really long haul that Canelo was sitting on the ropes waiting for shots, Golovkin wasn't giving them to him. You know, he's doing a lot of baiting and feinting and probes, and you know, but he wasn't actually committing to any shots. You know, so I don't think he landed any offense. And I think that, you know, actually, I think that there might have been a couple body shots, and I'm not sure if they were in this round or the 5th round. There might have been some body shots that hurt Golovkin. I think that, you know, maybe Canelo was getting to him in the body, and that might have been why he was like a little bit slow and a little bit, you know, not pressing as much, you know, because Canelo was countering a lot to the body, and those punches, to be honest, they're really hard to count with the angles because Golovkin looks like he has pretty good defense to the body. So when the angle is really weird, it's really tough to see whether the shot lands or whether it hits him on the arm or the glove or the elbow or whatever. So it's really interesting. But anyway, round 4 I gave to Canelo, and I still thought it was a really close round though. Round 5 was the first round that I think, like, I might have, man, this round was really close. To be honest, this round was really close too. And I think that I gave it to Golovkin. But I don't remember a lot going on in the round. I'm trying to watch it right now so I could do like a little bit better for you guys and let you guys know what I think. But I just remember giving it to Golovkin, but not for anything like, you know, not for anything in particular. You know, I have like 36 minutes of other stuff to remember. But, okay, so Canelo's sitting on the ropes a lot. He had really good defense. I was really surprised at how well some of that fancy defense from Canelo was able to serve him, how well it was able to, work for him. Because Golovkin wasn't doing a lot of probing. He wasn't doing a lot of that really high-level stuff that you're supposed to be doing, you know, controlling him, using your forearms to push on him and lean on him, you know, and he kind of break that rhythm, that defensive rhythm that you get, and you can catch him in between. It was really interesting. But yeah, the 5th round I gave to Golovkin, and I'm watching it right now, and it's not looking like a lot happened. You know, and maybe that's why I gave it to Golovkin. One of the first clinches. There you go. There's that. Ooh, and Canelo lands a good body shot. I'm about halfway through the round right now. But it's not looking like there's a lot going on. Glancing blow from Canelo. I wonder how much it picks up. But I did wind up giving that round to him. I might have been wrong about it. I'm not sure. But I do remember scoring it for, oh man, that was the round where Golovkin landed that huge right hand. And I think that might have been my call for it. You know, Canelo gets into an exchange with them after. He's shaking his head before the exchange, then he gets into another exchange and keeps shaking his head. I wonder if that meant that he was actually hurt. I don't know. Oh yeah, it does look like Canelo was getting kind of tagged up on the ropes this time. But it was really interesting too because one of the things that Golovkin was doing when he would get the guy on the ropes, when he would get Canelo on the ropes, he wouldn't punch. You know, he wasn't leading. And I don't know exactly if that was because Canelo's defense was so good and he saw earlier in the fight that he wasn't landing a lot of punches when he would get him on the ropes, or if it was because he was waiting for Canelo to open up first and put himself out of position so he could counter. You know, there were a lot of times like in the middle rounds where Golovkin and Canelo would be like, you know, basically touching heads, you know, with their gloves up, and Canelo would be on the ropes and Golovkin would just be sitting there. You know, he wouldn't be doing anything. And I think what he was doing was trying to figure out what hand Canelo was going to punch with so that he could counter him with those shots and land some good counters while he's opening up. And I think that might be why, because he was waiting to counter Canelo to get him to walk into a shot. You know, I don't think that was a good strategy for him. I think he could have done better when he had Canelo on the ropes, but I don't know. A very interesting fight. But anyway, round 5 I gave to, like I said, I gave to Golovkin, and you could have it, you know, to be honest, I think that the rounds 2, 3, and 4 were close, but I'm not sure that you could give them to Golovkin. I'm not sure. But round 5, I think you could give to Canelo. So possible scores, you know, you could have it 2-3 in favor of Canelo. You could have it 4-1 in favor of Canelo. You could have it 5-0 Canelo right now. And I think those are all, like, you know, reasonable scores. You know, I do think that the round 5 was the least close because of the big punches that Canelo took, and Golovkin was able to land on him. But so far, yeah, I think you could make an argument for 5-0 Canelo. And to be honest, I didn't think there was any way that could happen. I thought that by the 4th round that Golovkin would start picking it up and start really putting it on him. But he didn't really start doing that until, you know, the middle of the 5th, end of the 5th, to get the 5th round on my scorecard. Anyway, round 6, I thought was like a very clear Triple G round. I think that was really when Canelo started, like, I think he came out in the next few rounds, came out really solid, trying to land some good shots, trying to start the round really well to build a lead on the scorecard, and then kind of I don't want to say outbox Golovkin for the rest of the round, but I think he was trying to build a lead early with the flashy punches, whether they land or not, and then ride that lead for the rest of the round by neutralizing Golovkin's offense, landing some pot shot counters, but not stay in front of Golovkin so that Golovkin can pile up punches, right? And I don't think that he thought that Golovkin was going to be as good at controlling him as he was, because Golovkin really started to pick it up in the 6th round, and I think I gave it very clearly to Golovkin. And then the 7th round, man, I don't remember anything from the 7th round except for my score. And I gave the 7th round to Golovkin as well. I've got the round playing right now, so I can see if I can pick anything up, but I do remember giving it pretty clearly to Golovkin as well. Actually, I gave Golovkin pretty much the rest of the fight. I gave him 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And I think that the 12th round was really close. I think the 12th round was really close, and that round could have also gone either way. But I think that, you know, Canelo was taking too many of the middle rounds off. You know, there was a lot of speculation on the channel about it. In my opinion, pre-fight, I thought that if he did that against Golovkin, Golovkin was going to stop him 100%, you know. But he wasn't able to do it. I can't even believe nobody got knocked down. In spite of the body shots, you know, I think that the body shots that Canelo was throwing were really getting to Golovkin and was really interesting. I can't wait to, like, watch this fight, like, at a better time with, like, a better quality video, you know. Thank God, YouTube, because I know someone's going to get to upload it and it's not going to get taken down. So I'll get to, like, do some film study on it and do a better breakdown. But the 7th through the 11th, basically, I had Golovkin shutting Canelo out. And, you know, I don't even think that those rounds were really close. I think that Canelo kind of just took them off. I think he was really tired. And I think that Golovkin was actually able to hurt him. Was it the 10th round? I can't even remember. But Canelo really just, I don't know, he, like you said, he just took the rounds off and allowed Golovkin to kind of, you know, get into the fight and really take it to him. But anyway, so yeah, at the end of the fight, I gave Canelo 3 rounds for sure. I think the first round was really close. It could go either way. I edged it towards Golovkin. The 5th round was, after I looked at it again, like, I guess I could see that one going either way too, like I said, but I edged it toward Golovkin. And the 12th round, I gave to, to be honest, I was so dead tired and so excited to be watching the fight. I just gave it the 12th round a draw. But it could go either way, as like I said, it could go either way. It could have been a Golovkin round from what I remember, or it could have been a Canelo fight or Canelo round. Even though I think that Golovkin landed the most amount of power shots at the end of the round, I haven't seen any CompuBox stats yet for each round, or and I didn't listen to any commentary while I watched the fight. Well, I did, but like I didn't listen to like real boxing analysts. I listened to it from like, you know, one guy and another guy, and I'm not going to call anybody out. One of them was pretty good, and the other guy was like kind of a clown. I don't like the guy, but anyway, so possible scores for the fight. You know, I have no problem really with Canelo having edged any of the first 5 rounds. I think 2, 3, 4 were like very clear Canelo rounds. 1 and 5 were, you know, kind of either way. I edged them to Golovkin. And the 12th round, either way. You know, so having the fight 6-6 as a draw, I think is a perfectly acceptable score. All the way down to having Golovkin win 9 rounds to 3. I think that that's also like a reasonable score. So overall, I had Golovkin winning the fight. I think that he did more. I think that he did, I don't know how to say it, you know, but he did more, not, I don't want to say boxing, but yeah, I just think that Golovkin won the fight overall, and that, not that he got robbed, because 6-6 is a fine score. That one judge was like out of his mind to give it to Canelo by that wide of a margin. But it was a great fight, you guys, and this is exactly what boxing needed. Even though I'm not really like a fan of saying stuff like that. But yeah, great fight. I do think that Golovkin won it, and I'll be looking to get some videos up to do some film study on some interesting things that I find, and hopefully they don't get taken down. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and yeah, thanks guys.